In our previous video, we looked at how to sign in the OneDrive app on our Mac or Windows device, which you can see here running as our blue cloud in the taskbar here. Just a little tip, if you're using like dark theme or something, you may find the color of that does vary. And if we just check in the settings of our app here, you'll see that we're signed in with our demo user here and we are syncing our OneDrive. Now let's say we want to make a SharePoint site accessible on our PC in File Explorer or Finder in the same way that we have our OneDrive folder. So if I click on File Explorer here, we've got our OneDrive Extreme Training folder here, and all my personal files from OneDrive are synchronized with my PC, and I can work on them online or selectively offline as well. How can I do the same for SharePoint sites? Well, the first thing we need to do firstly is find the SharePoint site that we want to synchronize to our computer. Then we can click a button to link it to this computer so we can access it in the same way. There are two ways you can sync a site, either using a full synchronization in the same way we do with our OneDrive here, or you can add a shortcut to the site to your OneDrive, which can be preferable. Let's go over the first option first of all, and that's how to synchronize a site in full. So let's go back to office.com. We're going to go into SharePoint, and if you remember, that takes you to the landing page here. We're going to use our operations group here, but let's see first of all, how do we find operations if it's not visible here? Well, at the top of the screen is a search box. So in here we can type in operations, for example. We know what it's called, and it will come up with some suggestions. You may see multiple suggestions here, and I can click on that. Let's say I don't see the option I'm looking for. I can click on show more results. So when I click here, I get results that are all, so I can look at files with the word operations in. I can look at sites with the name operations in, people with the name operations in, and so on. So if you have a lot of content in your SharePoint environment, going into the show more results page can give you more visibility of what it is potentially you're looking for. So if I go to sites, this is the site I'm interested in. I can click on that link. It will open in a new tab for me. So now I've found the site that I want. Probably I want to follow that site, make sure it's visible on my SharePoint dashboard. I can click follow, and mine is already showing that I am following. Now, how do I get the document library visible on my PC? It's super simple. Let's go into documents, and here are the files and folders that I want synchronized to my Mac or Windows computer. How do I get those visible? I go to the toolbar at the top here, and if I can't see the button that says sync, just click on the three dots to get some more options, and there is the sync option for us. So when I click on sync, very briefly, it will say we're syncing your files, we're connecting to OneDrive on your device, and up here, Edge, or it would be Chrome or whatever your browser is, Safari, will ask for permissions to open OneDrive. So let's just click on open, and very quickly you'll see OneDrive appear and then disappear again. Now, before we do anything, let's click on the OneDrive cloud, and let's go into our cog and settings. And under our account, a minute ago we saw we were just synchronizing a OneDrive, but now we're synchronizing operations documents. So let's now have a look at what's happened in File Explorer. You'll notice here now, not only have we got our OneDrive here, which is our personal files, you'll now find we've got a company named folder here, with this little office type icon, and underneath that, if I expand it, you'll see here, this is what we just synchronized, operations documents. And when I click in there, you'll see there are the files and folders, if I just move across, that are exactly the same as the versions in the cloud. And the same occurs again, as it was previously. If I open a file on this computer, again, I don't have Word installed, so we'll just open this in Notepad and then close it. But what you'll see here is that that file is now synced to this computer. Anything with the blue cloud is in SharePoint. Anything with a green hollow tick there's a cached copy on our computer. And again, I can right click on that file and always keep on this device to make sure that it's always in sync and always available offline when I need it. And I can do the same for a folder as well. Always keep on this device. So very simple how to synchronize SharePoint sites to your device. You can synchronize multiples. They will all appear under your company name, like so. If I want to stop synchronizing a site, how do I do that? Well, let's say, for example, you were using SharePoint sites for projects and you were finished with a project, you no longer needed a copy of it on your computer. First of all, I'd recommend is to free up space on your computer. And the reason for that is to make sure that everything that you've got synced is fully committed back to the cloud and before we actually go through the steps to remove it. So right-click on the parent level folder and free up space, and that will remove everything back to a blue cloud, even stuff inside subfolders. Then go to your OneDrive icon and into the settings, like so. Click on Account, and there is the SharePoint site I want to stop syncing. I'm going to click Stop Sync. Stop Sync. That has now removed that here from our OneDrive. And what OneDrive is doing right now, it's disconnecting itself from that SharePoint site. So if we now close OneDrive here, now you see everything's still got an icon here in the status column. Let's just click into another folder. And you'll notice here now, the parent folder here, the status column is now empty. If I go back into Operations Documents, the status column is empty. Once you see the status column is completely empty, you now know that OneDrive has finished disconnecting everything. Probably the first choice you want to make is to remove this folder. Because you no longer want to sync it, you don't need a copy on your computer anymore. So let's go to Extreme Training here. I'm just going to right-click on that folder, and I'm going to delete it. Warning. If you see a status icon anywhere inside or at the top level here for that folder, it means OneDrive hasn't finished disconnecting. Do not delete it until that status column is blank. Right click, delete. We've now removed those empty folders from our computer. It's no longer synced with OneDrive. Now, one little tip here is you don't have to sync an entire document library to your computer. You can choose to sync just a subfolder. So if we go to our finance folder, for example, I just want to synchronize the stuff that's in here. I don't need the whole operations document library. Let's click the three dots. We'll click sync, open again. Here we go. And if I go to File Explorer, you'll notice now I've got operations finance. And in exactly the same way, it works in precisely the same way we can sync files. Any files I open on my computer are in live sync with SharePoint. Anyone else that's in the same files, we can collaborate at the same time on them. And when I've finished with this folder, let's click on my OneDrive icon here and go into settings, and we're going to stop sync. Like so. And that's now empty. We can now safely delete that folder from our computer. You wouldn't do the stop sync and deleting files from your computer on a regular basis. It would typically be at the end of a project or a change of job role or something like that. But very simply, that is how you find and how you synchronize a SharePoint site or a set of data from a SharePoint site to your device. In our next video, we'll look at the alternative way of adding a SharePoint site to your OneDrive.